And the next topic we are going to look at is danger signs in the pregnancy and rupture of membranes identification. So how to identify when the membranes are ruptured. There are two separate things. The danger signs of pregnancy is completely speaking about abnormality, whereas rupture of membranes identification of speaking when the mother is progressed to labor. So we'll see first danger signs. The danger signs basically as a part of an introduction, mother may feel the lack of fetal movement. Okay, so according to ACOG, that is American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, they tell that mother can count the fetal movement from 28th week of gestation. She can feel actually the quickening or the fetal movement starts from the 6 months only, from 24 weeks, but 28th weeks onwards it will be little more heavy. So the normal women can assess from 28th week of gestation. High risk women can assess from 26th week of gestation. So this is a general one, and if the mother is not feeling anything, that has to be confirmed again with the Doppler study, then only it will be considered as whether the fetus is having some abnormality or not. So it's a simple example of how these danger signs can cause some abnormality in the pregnancy to the mother as well as to the fetus. Okay, so first sign, as a part of this, first sign we are going to see is vaginal bleeding. So the vaginal bleeding is any time in the pregnancy is danger. In the early days of the pregnancy, like within the first trimester onwards, it could be due to the procedures that we are doing, example CVS, chorionic villus sampling, or maybe a physiological bleeding that may happen during the implantation called spotting. Okay, that is also possible, but it's only a spotting. The bleeding is different from spotting. So if there is a heavy bleed, it might tell us that the mother may lose the baby as a part of abortion. That is also one of the danger in the early days of the pregnancy within the first trimester. And the bleeding may also happen in the later pregnancy, that is near the at the end of the third trimester, as a presentation of show. It is a sign of labor. There is a bleeding along with the mucus, that is a presence of show. The mother is in the labor, that indicates. And the bleeding may also happen in between the trimester whenever the couple in the pregnancy may have coitus because of the rupture of the vaginal capillaries. That also may cause a minor bleeding. So anytime if the bleeding is heavy other than the spotting, it is very important that mother should see the obstetrician. And this bleeding also associated sometimes the infections and the diseases, like it could be a vaginal infections, vaginitis due to the any kind of sorts, and sometimes it may be associated with the STD, that is sexually transmitted diseases or sexually transmitted infections also might be one of the reason to spread the infection, also cause the bleeding. And the next one is having polyps and fibroids, cervical polyps and cervical fibroids, though they are smaller before the pregnancy. Because of the pregnancy changes, as a hypertrophy and hyperplasia will be there in the pregnancy, the fibroid and the polyp also grow in the pregnancy, and that also causes overbleeding and gives choice even both the ways, like it is again become a vaginal discharge or a vaginal bleeding, which is a danger signs in the pregnancy. And the other two important factors need to be considered if there is a vaginal bleeding in the pregnancy. Could be two placental disorders. It could be placenta previa or abruptio placenta. Placenta previa is the location of the placenta is not in the anterior upper border. It could be in the lateral or on the cervix. Because of that, there is a capillary rupture, pressure will be there on the placenta, and there will be a bleeding due to the placenta previa. And abruptio placenta is another condition where there is an early separation of the placenta from the uterus. So this separation of the placenta takes place in the labor after the delivery of the fetus in the natural way. But here in the abruptio placenta, the placenta separates early, even before the baby comes out. So that also causes the bleeding, and both of them end up having a stillbirth, that they may give birth to a baby who is already dead. So that's the reason vaginal bleeding is considered as a danger sign. And the next one is pain. The pain is not the mild or moderate, it is a severe pain in the pregnancy and in the labor. The first sign as a pain we can take as a normal labor. She will be starting along with the uterine contractions. There is a severe pain, that is a constant pain. It is a regular constant pain throughout the contractions, and that is a sign of labor. The mother immediately need to be shifted to the emergency room to conduct the normal labor. There is another sharp, sudden, dull pain we can see over the pelvic region due to the lightening crotch. So as the engagement drops down into the pelvis, as we have discussed earlier, mother will be having a pressure over the pelvic region and she will be having a sharp pelvic pain. So that is due to the lightening, and that is also considered as a pain. Both are related to the obstetrical point of view, but she may also experience severe pain due to the presence of the pelvic fibroids or uterine fibroids, or maybe some bladder infections or some nerve disorders also. So that abnormal pain need to be sorted out by visiting a doctor if she is if she is having an intolerable pain due to the other side effects. And the next one is fever. Fever as a sign considered when the temperature is more than 100.4 degrees centigrade. So the fever may occur due to any kind of infection in the body. It could be upper respiratory tract infection, or maybe urinary tract infection, or maybe genital infections, or infections towards the stomach or bladder. So like that, there are general infections but manifesting a generalized fever which is of more than 100 degree point, which is more than 100.4 degrees centigrade. So that has to be treated with a mild antipyretics, but still be considered and checked properly what is the source of this fever. And the next one is vomiting. So nausea and vomiting as a part of morning sickness, mother will be experienced in the first trimester only, but it will be continued in the third trimesters. We are discussing about the third trimester care here. So if the mother is having a severe nausea and vomiting in the third trimester, that has to be taken into consideration, because mother will have a severe vomiting in the preeclampsia condition only. Preeclampsia is increased blood pressure as well as proteinuria and edema will be there. It's a pregnancy-induced hypertension complication. So if the mother is having a headache and vomiting together, she will be having a preeclampsia. That has to be covered. Or if it is a hyperemesis gravidarum, there is a continuous vomiting throughout the pregnancy will be there, and the hyperemesis is continuing, that also need to be treated because of the hormonal. That has to be treated, identifying what is the cause. It could be hormonal one or it could be physiological one. So that symptomatic treatment has to be given by giving mild medication including perinorm. Perinorm acts on the smooth muscle relaxation, so it helps the cardiac sphincter not to have a regurgitation of the food. So that's how we can manage the vomiting. And the next one is issues related to the urinary bladder, including increased frequency of the urination or trouble in urinating. There could be a dysuria where there is a painful micturition can be felt because of the pelvic pressure of the lightening, the fetal head dropped into the pelvic cavity in the third trimester especially. And secondly, there is an increased frequency of urination also. Because of that gravid uterus in the third trimester, it putting a pressure on the anterior part of the uterus, that is called bladder, and that also causes increased frequency of urination. These both things, because of the physiological changes that are happening in the pregnancy, considered normal. But if the trouble is happening because of any underlying infection, if it is due to the urinary tract infection, or there is a burning micturition as well, and this infection, if you delayed, that may spread even into the kidneys and cause the complete renal system into trouble. So that is a reason any common symptom also need not to be neglected, and that has to be ruled out properly in the pregnancy. And lastly, anxiety and depression. So anxiety, depression, as we have seen the physical complaints as a physical danger signs, the psychological signs also need to be observed in the pregnancy. There is an anxiety and depression association department by the America as given that 50% of the women who are not treated or who had a background of depression or psychological condition are going to be psychologically depressed in the postnatal period. So based on the research and current study, that women need to be open up in discussions and given a lot of information to them so that she can clarify her doubts whenever they want. And having a birth companion all the time throughout the pregnancy, or taking a support of ASHA worker or a doula, can help the woman throughout the pregnancy, and especially psychologically she should be free from the worry, free from the anxiety, and having a safe pregnancy psychologically also is very important. And this is happening basically because whenever mother feels she is isolated or neglected in the family, so that point has to be highlighted, so that her psychological issues in the pregnancy or in the postnatal period has a chance of even affecting the fetus and the child who is growing after the delivery. So those things need to be discussed with her, and she should never be ignored and never to be left alone in the pregnancy, labor and in the postnatal period as well. So these are the signs need to be observed, both physical and the psychological ones, in order to treat the pregnancy in a safer way. And the next topic is alternative birth positions, where woman choice has having a birth companion and her own choice related to the birth position choosing. So here the alternative birth positions including the squatting, kneeling, standing and leaning forward. These are the 4 positions we can see over here. Majorly their help is reducing the pain, reducing the discomfort and speeding up the labor. These are the 3 main objectives of having different alternative positions during the labor. So we'll see one by one. Number 1 is squatting. Squatting helps in widening the pelvic outlet. Like squatting is a simple position where we use in the the Indian toilet where we sit. So that's a squatting. You can imagine here there is a widening of the pelvic outlet and it prepares it makes the room for the baby to come out, and it also reduces the pressure on the pelvis, by mainly it also avoids using, reduces the pressure on the pelvis, and it also reduces the chance of using the forceps and the vacuum extraction. So we don't have to use them when the mother is having a squatting position. It helps the baby to come down with the gravity properly. And the next one is kneeling. So kneeling is also a position where it will make a room again for the baby to come through, release the pressure on the pelvis, and it also reduces the back pain, and it make a room for the baby to come out through the pelvic outlet. So these are the benefits of kneeling down. Third one is standing. Standing also helps in baby making a room for the baby. With the gravity, the baby can easily descend down and decrease the pressure, and importantly it improves the blood circulation to the uterus. It helps in that way and reduce the perineal pressure as well. And fourthly, we have the last one, leaning forward. When you lean forward also, again you make a room through the pelvic outlet to come, the baby to come out, and reducing the pelvic pressure, and reducing the pelvic pressure, and pain on the perineum also can be reduced, and the back pain also can be reduced. So these have, all four positions have the similar benefits only, except the standing has an increased uterine circulation, and the squatting has a increasing pelvic outlet, more diameter, and less chance of using instrumental deliveries. So like these alternative methods, and even the birth companion is also choice of the mother, can be given from the pregnancy and in the labor. Especially she should choose either a husband or medical supportive person, or anybody that she can allowed to have a birth companion in the labor, so that they'll support with the help of birth preparedness and help them in having breathing positions and relaxation techniques and having these alternative methods as well.